That's all borrowed. Everything is borrowed. You know, the whole bottle concept came out of a picture from the Genie series and the shape of it.
The shape of it came from there too.
Sure.
Now, did this all go perfectly according to Hoyle, or were there some bumps along the way?
Well, there were lots of bumps along the way. We lost Jeannie's head several times.
There were train wrecks along the way.
Okay.
And getting the holes on the inside to line up with the lighting, the little LED lights that we put in there, the columns, and to light the backdrop a little bit, presented a little bit of a structure problem because we had to rearrange the furniture.
More than once.
Yeah.
More than once. Well, I think it's very nice that you chose to do a battery pack instead of a cord, because that makes it much more usable on a central table where you don't have to have the trailing electrical connection.
Right.
It's terrific. So on and on it went. How long did it take you to construct this?
What were we, probably a month from start to finish before we finally, well, it took, there was a lot of delay time because we were talking about bling and we had it gone for a while and brought it back and gave it to Madge, and it didn't flow from here to there.
Well, it takes clay a little while to dry. You make its form, you have to wait and let it dry, get it structurally sound before you can put them together and try to match them up. And then we had to make sure that all of the furnishings and the pillows, they stayed in place. And they were actually fired in two pieces, but they were fired together, so they weren't welded together at that point yet. And that way the top part of it, this whole top part, can be taken off if there was any problems in there. So we had one more little relief in case something went wrong. But after the first firing, everything stayed intact, so we go ahead and glaze, put it together, and refire.
We said, let's do it. You know, it was a case where we had to just say, okay, we're done with this. We've got to finish it. It's glazed. Let's fire it and be done. And it worked.
And it worked.
And it worked. Yeah.
Is this definitely a one of a kind, or are you going to try to do another Genie bottle?
I don't really want to try and repeat it. If I did, I would make it so completely different that it wouldn't even look like a Genie bottle. It was more like,
So it's special. It is a one of a kind,
It is
and
definitely
not to
a one of a
be
kind.
replicated here.
no,
in
we're not
Mesquite.
going to make a series of these.
No, okay. Even though I Dream of Genie was a series, you're not doing a series.
Well, I would like to see Harlow come up with another project.
We're working on it, yeah.
The project, as a project, it was fun, and that's what
Yeah,
that's
we
what
had a
made it.
great time doing it.
Oh, I think you must have, and the people there at the Pottery Studio must have been
we
fascinated all
had
the
people
steps
around
along
us
the
half
way.
the time we were working. They were
Yeah.
always wrapped around us, saying, "Okay, let's go on."
How do you think making something like this impacts the other people at the studio?
It gives them incentive. In fact, we now have at the studio a whale with Jonah sitting inside of it.
A lot of projects have come from
It was all hand.
this, yes.
The whale, the side, it's a diorama. The side of the whale is out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it inspires. It punches creativity.
One
in the
good
gut.
thing leads to another.
That's right.
So, where is Jeannie going to end up? Is she going to be locked away in the palace somewhere?
No, I think we have a 3D exhibition coming up in April, and we'll probably put her in that just as an entry. And so, okay,
Okay, and then at that point, it would be for sale.
Yes.
it would be.
Okay, okay.
That's a bit of a problem because there's three of us involved here, and we all have a chunk of action in this. So
And a chunk of your heart.
oh, absolutely. And
There might be a bidding war here.
There's
Well-
the potential of a lot of things to happen. And it's just, ideas, to show it off a little more on the public end instead of having everybody come down to the Pottery Studio. It says there's an exhibition coming up, three-dimensional art, and this.
let it be a part of that
Yeah.
exhibition.
So
That would
I
seem
think
to
it was a
make more
fun
sense.
project that we can get
It was a project, and that's all it is a project, so it's done, and now we can move on and find something else to do. Like Madge says, what's next?
Yeah.
Yes.
What kind of things do you teach in your class, Madge?
I teach facial features, beginning with nose, mouth, eyes, ears, and then on a face. Then we put it on a face. And then, if people are interested, a specific face after that.
Oh, very good. So you are trying to replicate possibly true individuals.
Yes.
More than Abraham Lincoln and the obvious ones, yes. Madge does an excellent job. She has a bust of her mother that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
She looks just like a Gibson girl because of her hairdo, but she's really a cutie pie.
Well, the details, everybody knows that a face usually has 2 eyes, a nose, lips, and ears, and those kind of things. But the placement of them can be very important. So sculpture is a trick of its own, and definitely a skill of its own. So we've been happy to have Madge teach a couple of times, and she'll be teaching again another sculpture class.
What are your specialties in teaching, Kathleen?
The letter P, patience.
Patience, yes.
Pottery patience.
Yeah, there you go. Right now the Pottery Studio has a hand building class ongoing every Friday, and it usually stays with about 3 or 4 people. Right now our wheel classes are full until February, and so we teach a hands-on clay.
Mm-hmm. And your students are welcome from throughout the community.
Absolutely, open to the public,
Open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
7 days a week.
And what we try to teach is not how to build a project, a birdhouse or a coffee cup or whatever. We try to teach how to deal with and work with clay.
From
Start
from a block of clay.
Start with a
You
block.
teach them how to work the clay.
Yes, whether you're hand
Okay.
forming or wheel forming, doesn't matter. It still requires a bit of knowledge as to what it is you're trying to accomplish. Madge knows this too. I mean, she's been through it. She's worked with enough clay. She originally started working with what, wax?
No, it's an oil-based clay
Oh, it's an oil,
that
okay.
cannot be fired. It has to have a mold and then be poured with some medium.
Okay. Yeah, working
But
with
that
with
translates to.
with a drying clay is
So we're all in it, just to have the experience of working in a different medium. And we find a lot of artists that, again, went with the brown bag really well, is when you start to lose creativity in your primary medium, you switch. And you get inspiration from those around you, or seeing mistakes, or just trying it out and starting something new. So the artist can actually put their artwork on clay, just
have
like paintings.
Oh, yeah. For most brush artists, to create a bowl, it creates a new medium to paint on. And that's marvelous. It's fun to watch them because they look at it as a canvas, and they're immediately decorating it.
I'm seeing more and more of that coming out of the Pottery Studio, where there are more images painted or incised
Right.
on the exterior of bowls or
Exactly.
vases.
It
And that's a
becomes-
nice new twist to what we have had in the gallery. We always love the old things, but the new things just add another dimension.
Well, having people in their particular style, we always say, we don't teach the style, we teach you how to work in what your medium is, and then you develop your style. So we've seen a lot of new styles come out.
My last pottery student has a bowl that isn't finished yet, and I talked to her about it. She said, Harlow, I can't get to it right now because I got back into painting, and I'm so
Yeah.
wrapped up in it. And that to me is wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
inspiration.
absolutely
Yeah.
marvelous, because what it did was just kicked her in the tail and got her moving on something, and she's now working on something she really, truly enjoys. Pottery was an inspiration. And if
Wonderful.
If it's
And
that,
the inspiration goes on.
Absolutely.
I think it's fantastic that here at Virgin Valley Artists Association we have about 200 members who can be inspirational to each other. Coming to the gallery, seeing everyone else's work is truly an inspiration not only to our own community, but to those visitors that come to Mesquite and see what a fine arts community that we have here. So I appreciate you being with us today. Thank you very much for showing us Jeannie.
Thank you.
Thank you.